Usually, when we talk about space, there is this default assumption that you just kind of carry with you.
Right, like an unconscious bias.
Exactly. It's this expectation of a silent, infinite void. And time, well, time is treated as this relentless, ticking clock that you and I are essentially trapped inside.
Yeah, like a cage.
Yeah. We treat the universe as a room that was built long before we got here, and we're just standing in it. But what if that entire picture is backward?
I mean, that's the big question right now.
It is. What if space isn't an infinite empty void at all? And what if time isn't a cage? What if both of those things are actually just the dashboard of a much deeper perspective engine?
A system that keeps actively assembling itself, right?
Yes, assembling itself around the very fact that you are looking.
Which is a huge shift, because that flips the foundational bedrock of our reality entirely on its head.
It really does.
And it's why we are moving completely past the exhausted, fear-based idea of a digital matrix. We aren't talking about a literal silicon computer simulation running in some alien basement somewhere.
No, definitely not.
The research we are seeing points to the cosmos as an organic developmental incubator. It's a system that breathes, that tests, and that teaches.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. So welcome to this week's Beyond the Shell Weekly Synthesis, looking at the signals for the week ending May 22, 2026.
Glad to be diving into this one.
Same here. In this deep dive, we're pulling together the deepest threads from recent live signal research. We are blending the philosophical architecture of the cosmic egg with our Sunday systemic astrology outlook.
Which has been wild this week.
Oh, absolutely wild. And we're mapping it all onto some truly mind-bending real-world developments.
So, to really grasp this concept of a perspective engine, we have to start by looking at the physical maps of our universe.
Right, the actual science of it.
Yeah, because the standard mechanical model that we all learned in grade school, it is actively breaking down in real time.
It really is. And I want to spend a minute on the Hubble tension, because I think a lot of people might see that term in the news and just kind of gloss over it.
Oh, for sure. It sounds super dry.
It does, but it is a massive crisis in astrophysics right now. Essentially, scientists have two different ways to measure how fast the universe is expanding, right?
Right.
One method looks at the early cosmic background radiation, and the other looks at modern nearby stars. So it's like using two different tape measures to measure the exact same room.
And they should match.
But they don't. They keep getting two completely different numbers. The math is literally breaking.
Which is terrifying if you're a cosmologist.
Right. Astrophysicists are being forced to admit publicly that our default story of the universe might be fundamentally incomplete.
And that puts mainstream cosmology in an incredibly vulnerable position. I mean, the dashboard is failing.
Yeah, the dials are spinning.
Exactly. And right at this moment of maximum uncertainty, we get the public release of the DSI 3D galaxy maps.
Oh, the dark energy spectroscopic.
Yes. They are trying to chart the hidden skeleton of our reality. And at the same time, you have the James Webb Space Telescope relentlessly searching for the cosmic dawn, looking for the very first light.
Right.
But what they are actually hunting for, whether they phrase it this way or not, is the physical evidence of an ultimate boundary.
Yeah.
They are mapping the large-scale cosmic web, looking for the edge of the architecture.
Yeah, reading through the source notes on this, the best analogy that came to mind is a video game.
Oh, I like that.
When these highly advanced instruments map out the cosmic web, it feels like a player in a massive open-world game sprinting as fast as they can to the edge of a rendered map.
Just trying to hit the invisible wall.
Exactly. They are hunting for that physical boundary line where the code stops and the collision wall begins. But if they actually find that edge, what does that mean for us?
Well, it forces a massive, really uncomfortable question about the actual substrate of reality.
Okay, unpack that.
If space-time isn't the foundational bedrock, it starts to look significantly less like a physical container and a whole lot more like a user interface.
Ah, so space and time are just the interface.
Right. Space and time become the gauges and the dials. And if the instruments looking outward into the deep dark are finding a wobbling, glitching map, theoretical physics is being forced to look inward to find the true substrate.
And that leads directly to consciousness, which is just a staggering academic shift.
It is huge.
You have researchers like Rodolfo Gambini exploring quantum panprotopsychism.
Which is quite the mouthful.
It really is. For anyone driving right now, that dense piece of jargon essentially means the basic building blocks of reality, the atoms in your coffee cup, the photons hitting your windshield, have a precursor to consciousness built right into them.
Yeah, it's baked in.
Right. Then you have mainstream coverage of scientists like Maria Strem theorizing about a completely consciousness-centered universe. But I do struggle with this a bit. Well, if consciousness is the base layer, why doesn't the physical world just dissolve into pure imagination? Like, how does it maintain its shape?
That is exactly where the physics of boundaries comes in. A wave of potential needs a boundary to become a structure.
Oh, okay. Let me throw a tactile analogy at that to see if I'm tracking the mechanism.
Go for it.
Think about a cymatics plate, like when you sprinkle sand on a metal plate and run a sound frequency through it.
Yeah, you get those crazy shapes.
Exactly. The sand instantly snaps into these beautiful, intricate geometric patterns. Or think of a water ripple in a small dish or a vibrating guitar string.
Right, the energy has nowhere else to go.
Yeah. A wave pattern only exists and it only changes because of the physical boundary containing it. Without the edge of the metal plate or the rim of the dish, the energy just dissipates. Is that what you mean by a boundary condition?
That perfectly illustrates the mechanism, yeah. And if we take that physics principle and map it onto the ancient model of the cosmic egg, we see a direct correlation.
Oh, wait, really? The cosmic egg?
Yes. The cosmic egg isn't just primitive mythology from people who lack telescopes. It is a cross-cultural memory of this exact wave boundary mechanics.
That makes so much sense.
The shell of the cosmic egg is that boundary limit. It is the energetic perimeter that forces the frequency of raw, infinite potential to stabilize into a world that you can actually experience.
Okay, but if the universe is a bounded wave environment stabilized by this cosmic shell, how do you and I actually fit into this?
That's the real question.
Because if I'm no longer just a biological accident standing on a rock, what is my function in this engine?
Well, if the universe is a structured, bounded environment, many of these models describe it as an electromagnetic torus field.
Like a donut shape.
Exactly. Think of a massive self-sustaining energy donut where energy flows out the top, loops around the outside, and pulls back in through the bottom in a continuous breathing cycle.
Okay, I can visualize that.
Within that specific field, your physical body is not just a passive passenger. Your body is the antenna of a cosmic egg.
Whoa, an antenna.
We are walking receivers. We translate boundary information from the cosmos into lived linear time.
Okay, I really have to push back on this because it challenges my entire day-to-day experience.
Fair enough, hit me.
If my brain is just an antenna picking up cosmic signals flowing through a torus field, doesn't that completely strip away human free will?
Not necessarily.
But am I just a meat puppet for whatever border intelligence is broadcasting today? Like, when I get a sudden, bizarre, intrusive thought or a random mood shift, am I not generating that inside my own sealed skull?
It doesn't strip away your free will. Rather, it reorients where your free will actually resides. The mind is not a sealed container generating its own private, isolated reality from scratch.
Okay, then what is it?
The mind is a permission layer. Think of it as a gatehouse.
A gatehouse.
Yeah. Those intrusive thoughts or sudden moods are signals bouncing around the electromagnetic environment. Your antenna tunes into them. You aren't responsible for every signal that hits your antenna, but your free will lies in what you allow through the gatehouse.
Wow. That reframes personal responsibility in a huge way. I'm not the broadcaster. I'm the security guard at the door.
Exactly. And understanding that gatehouse mechanism sheds a lot of light on the modern cultural fascination with altered states, specifically the DMT threshold experience.
Oh, you're talking about the famous waiting room experience people report.
Yes,
It is.
exactly. Modern reports constantly talk about experiencing ontological shock, the complete shattering of a person's understanding of reality.
Right, because it feels more real than real.
Right. They report encountering structured spaces and border intelligences. But what is crucial to understand in this framework is that the DMT molecule isn't a magical door creating a hallucination.
It's not generating the room.
No, it acts as a tuning fork. It temporarily retunes your receiver to perceive the cosmic architecture and the boundary officials that were already there, just humming in the background.
That is wild. So the modern science of consciousness, the physics of boundaries, and these altered states are all just now catching up to this interface.
Yes, thousands of years later.
Right. Because what blows my mind from the source material is how ancient cultures preserved this exact same map thousands of years ago. They didn't have the technical language of holographic universes or quantum observer effects. So how did they communicate this?
Well, they used the most durable compression technology available to human beings, narrative.
Storytelling.
Exactly. They turned interface diagrams into stories.
Stories is a zip file. I love that. So the holy books and the ancient myths weren't just history or, like, fairy tales. They were mnemonic sky manuals.
The consistency across entirely different civilizations is the key indicator here. You can look at the Dendera zodiac in Egypt, which is carved into a temple ceiling. Or look at the ancient Vedic texts describing the Bhumandala and Mount Meru.
I want to pause on Mount Meru, actually, because usually people just think of it as a mythical sacred mountain.
Right, just a big physical hill somewhere.
Yeah. But when you look at the descriptions of the Bhumandala in the texts, it describes concentric rings, islands, and oceans that look less like a physical map of India and much more like a top-down view of a complex particle accelerator, or a cymatic frequency, like we talked about.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. It's a structural diagram of the torus field we discussed earlier.
And the Norse Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge, functions the exact same way, right?
Exactly. These are technical maps of how the interface operates.
Okay, but if these are technical maps, then how should I be reading the characters in these myths?
What do you mean?
Well, in school, we are taught that ancient gods like Zeus or Hermes were these chaotic characters who got angry, fell in love through lightning bolts. Should I be looking at them differently?
If you view them as soap opera characters,
Yep.
you entirely miss the technical data. In this model, those deities are functional offices in a cosmic administration.
Like departments.
Yeah, they are system protocols.
Okay, break that down for me. How does a god function as a system protocol?
Let's take the messenger function. You have Hermes in Greece, Thoth in Egypt, Mercury in Rome.
Okay.
In an information universe, you need a protocol that moves data across the boundaries from the substrate to the dashboard. That is the office of the messenger.
Oh, wow.
Or look at Saturn, known as Kronos in Greece. Saturn represents the timekeeper function.
Right, the father of time.
Exactly. Any bounded system requires a manager for cycles of constriction, limitation, and eventual awakening to maintain pressure. Saturn isn't an evil deity. Saturn is the system's clock and pressure valve.
So they're basically the IT department of the universe.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the source material mentions classical philosophers like Porphyry and Macrobius talking about the two gates of Cancer and Capricorn.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I assumed these were literal pearly gates sitting on a cloud somewhere.
No, Porphyry and Macrobius were describing threshold checkpoints within that IT department. They are the security architecture for the soul.
Checkpoints.
The gate of Cancer is the protocol for the soul's descent into matter, into the physical antenna body. And the gate of Capricorn is the exit protocol, the return route out of the material interface once the cycle is complete.
Okay, knowing that these celestial offices are active protocols, how are they running today? Let's connect this to our Sunday systemic astrology outlook,
Let's do it.
because we are completely bypassing the noise of daily horoscopes here to look at a collective retuning of our internal antennas.
And when we look at the macro dynamics of the planetary offices this week, the dominant signal is a sustained systemic pressure.
Yeah. If you are listening to this and you've been feeling a really heavy friction between your personal desires and massive societal expectations, you aren't crazy.
No, it's very real.
That isn't just a random bad mood. The planetary offices are signaling a moment of compression in the system. But I have to ask, how does a planet millions of miles away signal compression in my daily life?
Because you are inside the cosmic egg. The entire environment is electromagnetically resonant.
Right, the torus field.
Exactly. When the timekeeper functions like the planetary bodies shift their position within the torus field, they change the frequency of the boundary.
Yeah.
Your body, as the antenna, picks up that frequency change as psychological or societal friction.
And when I look at the news right now, all I see is geopolitical and social volatility. I mean, it feels like chaos. Does this macro-level chaos connect to that planetary signaling?
The research frames this macro-level chaos as stagecraft.
Stagecraft.
Yeah. In a breathing shell model, compression is always followed by expansion. You cannot have an inhale without an exhale.
True.
The geopolitical friction we are seeing mirrors the mantle layer of the cosmic egg processing a completely new signal. The old cosmological dashboard is cracking so the new consciousness first substrate can emerge.
And that brings up a massive anxiety in modern physics, which is entropy.
Ah, the heat death of the universe.
Yes. The idea that eventually all the usable energy in the system just burns out and we're left with a freezing dead void.
Physicists like Freeman Dyson have theorized endlessly about how intelligence might survive in a cooling universe, attempting to stretch subjective time infinitely to outlast the decay.
Right.
But what is fascinating is that entropy is really just the secular mathematical version of the ancient exit route problem.
Wait, I'm struggling to see the connection between the universe running out of heat and an ancient exit route. How do those link up?
Well, modern cosmology asks, can intelligence survive the end of the physical universe?
Right.
Ancient enclosed world maps were asking the exact same question in a different language. Can the soul find the return route before the cosmic cycle closes and the boundary dissolves?
Oh, wow.
Entropy is simply the outer shell of the egg breaking down over time. The cosmic egg was always designed as a temporary incubator, which means it was always an escape map.
And the physical proof of that map is staring us in the face. The sources point to the pyramids?
Yes, the pyramids.
Not as tombs and not as power plants, but as a frozen physical diagram of this exact escape process.
The three-layered architecture of the pyramids perfectly mirrors the three layers of this cosmic interface.
Okay, but how does a physical stone pyramid translate into a map for consciousness to escape entropy?
It acts as a structural metaphor for the soul's transit. The outer layer, the limestone crust, represents the visible stage. It is the dashboard we see everyday history, human conflict, material reality.
Then you have the inner passages descending into darkness and moving upward through very specific shafts. That represents the mantle layer, the transit field.
Correct. It is where signals are processed, where the messenger and timekeeper functions operate.
Okay.
It is the translation zone where the soul must navigate the planetary checkpoints, like the gates of Cancer and Capricorn we mentioned earlier.
And deep inside the inner sun, the king's chamber.
Exactly.
The substrate spark that makes the entire system alive to begin with. The specific alignment of those internal shafts to particular star systems wasn't just for decoration, they were targeting mechanisms for the exit route. It's a stone manual showing us how the machine works.
And at the absolute center of all this architecture, whether you are looking at the layout of a pyramid, the concentric rings of Mount Meru, or the mechanics of the universe itself, is the cosmic vortex.
Ancient maps always point to a remembered center. They call it Eden, Hyperborea, or the Axis Mundi.
Right.
But if I'm tracking the physics of this correctly, this center isn't a physical GPS coordinate you can just hike to, is it?
No, it is much more profound than a location on a map. The cosmic vortex is the operating rule that turns a boundary and a ticking clock into a world.
The operating rule.
It is the still point. It is the exact center of the interface where the observer's attention filters the raw, chaotic, cosmic signal into a stable, navigable reality. You are at the center of the vortex.
So the observer is the center.
Yes. Your conscious attention is the gravity that holds the rendering together.
So as you navigate the week ahead, what does this all mean for you practically? It means you have a very specific mission. You need to actively guard your gatehouse.
That is the big takeaway.
The cosmological dashboard of our world is currently updating. The collective energy is pulsing with the friction of that change, from the physics labs to the geopolitical stage. But you are the tuner.
You hold the dial.
Your attention is the final piece of security architecture for your reality. You get to decide what crosses the threshold.
The system tests and it teaches, but you hold the keys to the permission layer.
It all comes down to where you put your focus. So I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over as you step back into the world.
Let's hear it.
If the universe is a perspective engine and your mind is the permission layer standing at the very threshold of the cosmic egg, what specific signal are you allowing to stabilize your world today?